Hi, Hello, buddy.
Hello, hello.
How you guys doing?
Oh, I'm still on the spot.
All right. How's everybody doing?
Hey, good. How are you guys doing? How are you doing, Fred?
I'm well. I thought, this was really calming and soothing. Did you guys feel the same way?
Yes. Yeah, I was
Interestingly
thinking
enough.
it sounded like when you go to like a really nice resort spa,
Hmm.
you're laying down waiting for the massage therapist to come in. It's like that wonderful, it's like a great feeling. Brought that back.
I was all set to go, and literally 3 seconds before it started, I drank the wrong way and it went down the wrong pipe, and I had this massive coughing. Oh my gosh, so funny.
With like relaxing music playing in the background. You're like dying.
He's dying.
Worst.
So it's still kind of there. Anyway, so what I really wanted to do today, which I thought would be really, really cool, is to talk about appointments in HubSpot because it's something we get quite a bit, and the idea really. So there's a bunch of things that go with it, but the essential thing is that for appointments that do appointments. I'm sorry, for companies that do appointments, mind-body companies that do appointments in HubSpot, it's very important for them to know if someone has an upcoming appointment or not, right? And it seems like an easy ask. It's definitely a very important one, but it took us a while to figure this one out. And interestingly enough, this is not really an APIANT training. It's more of a HubSpot training. It's what do you do in HubSpot with the information you get from APIANT. So part of it is going to be, we're going to show you what we do, what APIANT is sending, but the key really is, how do you automate this stuff? Now, I know, Pen, you love real examples. So let me give you a couple examples of this, what this would be like. So let's say you have a spa and you want to know if any of your clients that have been at the spa before, okay, so this is important. Any of the clients that have been at the spa before have an appointment scheduled in the next 30 days on that or further, right? Because that's important for you to know, because if they don't, then the next question you can ask yourself, when is the last time they had an appointment, right? So if they haven't had an appointment with us, at least in the last 6 months, and they don't have an appointment upcoming, then you may want to send them an automated email or automate a task of creating a call, right? But if they have an upcoming appointment, you really don't want to put them into that workflow, and you don't want to send needless untargeted emails. You don't want to say, hey, we hope to see you, again at the Too Good Spa, which, by the way, would be a great name for a spa.
There you go.
The Too Good Spa, right? But you don't want to send that to somebody who is going to respond and says, oh yeah, I'm scheduled to see you guys on Wednesday. So how do you automate that? And how do you make sure you don't make those mistakes? Now, there's a bunch of other things you can do with this, but that's something that actually Mark and I figured out together, and we're really excited about it. And so we're going to share that with you. And of course, in good form, we're going to be testing Rex, mainly Rex and Pen here, because Mark knows all about this already. So he's anything else you want to add about this, Mark? I mean, that's pretty much the crux of what we're showing here, right?
No, I think it's great, man. It's like caramel popcorn. It's gonna be nice and tasty.
Okay. All right, let me share my screen. And I still have this thing in my throat. It's right before it started, I just swallowed the wrong way. Oh, it's so annoying. Okay, so let me share my screen. Let me just kind of show you first what a typical integration between MindBody and HubSpot is using APIANT, right? So here we have a bunch of automations in APIANT, and here I have MindBody, which will come up in a second with all of my appointments. And then here I have these appointments showing up in HubSpot, right? So let me just kind of give you a quick tour of that first, and then we'll get right into the training on how we pull off what I've just described. So here you have your MindBody appointments. We know that. This automation here, again, most of our clients don't go into this thing, but I like to show it anyway. But most of our clients don't go into it. But if you wanted to see, it, you could take a look at it. So automation 3 syncs MindBody appointments with HubSpot deals. So when we install this, we create a pipeline called MindBody appointments. There's also a MindBody sales pipeline, but we'll just talk about appointments here. And so when this runs here, this automation 3, it'll check if there's an appointment upcoming, right? Or it'll check if an appointment has changed. And then you'll notice here, and I'll put the two next to each other here. When you look at an appointment, you have, let me scroll up a little bit. Okay, so when you look at an appointment, you can have it confirm, arrived, you can have it canceled, no show, or you can have it completed, right? And in MindBody, appointments are different than purchases, right? So an appointment in MindBody can be purchased in different ways. It can be purchased through an appointment pack, like a bunch of sessions packed together, or it can be paid for appointment by appointment. So it can be prepaid, or it can be paid after the appointment. Well, one of the things that this automation does really, really well, and this is kind of what it looks like behind the scenes, what it does really, really well is that it's able to associate the appointment with the purchase that was used for this appointment, okay? So what we're able to do as a result is when this appointment is added or updated, in this case here, into HubSpot, take a look at it. So this is Michael Scott from, I think, one of our trainings a few months ago. So right here, well, let's open this one here, Jack J. So this is an exercise appointment. And this appointment here, you notice, has an amount of $50. And the reason it has an amount of $50 is because the related purchase here was a $2,500 pack that they bought with 50 sessions, right? So if you divide this 50 by 25 by 50, you'll end up with $50. So this is why we're able to do this. And then the other thing that it's going to be able to do, it's going to be able to deduct the sessions and keep track of how many sessions are left. So if I completed this appointment, I would be able to say there are 49 sessions left out of 50. So this could be very useful when you build workflows and so forth, okay? And so what this automation does, it keeps track of each appointment. And then you'll notice here into the pipeline, you have requested, booked, confirmed, arrived, completed, no show, canceled. And now that, because we're able to put a value to each appointment, you also have your totals. So you'll be able to say, I have, $150,000 worth of appointments that are booked, and I've got $1 million of appointments that are completed. So you'll be able to do this. And then of course, with the power of HubSpot, you can also, filter this further to separate your consultations from treatments. You can separate it by staff member, because here we keep track of everything basically for the appointment. We keep track of the appointment, we keep track of who it's with, we keep track of the purchase. In this case, Buddha is performing this appointment. The other thing we do is we keep track of the time. and we keep track of the time in time format. So this is all coming from MindBody, obviously, right? So here this says the appointment is going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So you can calculate against it, but we also keep track of it, and we split out the date and the time as text format. So if you want to do automated emails, transactional emails, for instance, and you want to be able to send, hey, we're looking forward to your appointment with Buddha at 1 p.m. Next Wednesday, and you want to send that 24 hours before, you can now do that through HubSpot because all this stuff is being updated. So you've got value of appointment, you've got all the details of the appointment, and then obviously you have the status of each appointment. So this is cool. All right, let me stop sharing and resharing again, because what I want to do is I want to see everybody's video. And I think the reason I didn't have it is because I was sharing my spa sound. So now I see everybody's video. Okay. So does that make sense so far, what I've shown you, how appointments are basically reflected from MindBody into HubSpot so far? Do you have any questions about this? Does this make sense to you guys?
That makes sense.
Makes sense? Okay, cool. All right, so the purpose of this demo really is not necessarily to show you, I think we've shown this before. The purpose of the demo is, how do I know if somebody has an upcoming appointment? Okay. Or if they don't. So let me show you the way I would typically build it. And then you're going to start realizing that it's not necessarily doable through workflows as is. Some modifications are going to be necessary for this to happen. So let me show you. So what I would typically do is I would build a workflow in HubSpot, and I'm gonna share just this screen so it's a little easier to see. So all right, so I would typically build a workflow in HubSpot, and the workflow would say, do any of my contacts have a deal with an appointment, right? But what I want to do is I want to calculate against the date, right? I do have the date, but I want to be able to say any appointments that are upcoming. Okay, so naturally what I would do, I'm going to open a different tab here. What I would do is I would come here and I would create a workflow, okay? And this is going to be a contact workflow, right? So we're going to create a workflow here. We're going to choose start from scratch. This is a contact-based workflow. We're going to start from scratch. And then here, what I would do is I would say, okay, set up trigger. And I would say, are there any deals? Because remember, appointments are deals for us, right? Are there any appointments, right? So here I want to say upcoming naturally, what I would do, I just want to show you where we hit a stomping block, where we hit a wall that we had to resolve. What I would do is I would say any deal with appointment, right? Appointment date and time. So this is where you can calculate. This is a date field. And here it says is equal to, is before, is after, is before any other property, is after any property, is between, is not between, is known and is unknown. It's not a moving date. It doesn't say is more than 0 days from now or more than 0 days ago. It doesn't have the ability for you to compare that date with today. And that was really the challenge that we ran into. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah, because that was
right. Now go ahead, Mark.
no, it's because that you assume that you would be able to work off of that because it's the date and time, but obviously this field's not capable of doing that. So
right. And this field has it, but the logic when you build a workflow in HubSpot, a contact workflow, and then you study a deal that's associated with it, it doesn't have this ability to compare with today. So that was kind of we were like, I don't know how to do it. I mean, I can tell you visually if they have appointments. I can go into Jack's account, for instance, right? I can go to Jack's account here. So let's open Jack, and I can tell you by looking at it that Jack has upcoming appointment or not. So here I would be able to come here. See, I can see, well, he has an appointment March 2nd and it's booked. But that doesn't do you any good. That's you seeing it. You need the system to be able to make that decision, right? Because if Jack doesn't have an upcoming appointment, you want to be able to pitch Jack and say, hey, we'd love to see you again, right? So how do we do it, right? Well, the first thing that we discovered is that those fields are different if the workflow starts with the deal. Okay, so let me show you what I mean here. If I create a workflow from scratch, but instead of creating a workflow from the contact, and I choose a deal-based workflow, right? And I do now this is the deal, right? And I say set up trigger. So this is going to be triggered based on each deal, right? And I say if the deal appointment date and time. Now notice what you have. You've got a lot more stuff here. You have is before. You have is more than day ago. Is less than day ago. Is what is the other thing? Yeah, so is more than 1 day ago. Or you can say is more than 1 day from now. So now you can see, now you can assess future and past, which is really what you want to be able to do. But the problem is that you're on the deal, you're not on the contact, right? So you don't want to have to do this for every deal for the it gets complicated, right? You just want to be able to say, if my contact doesn't have an appointment in the future, then do this. So how do you do it? All right. The way we do it is we're going to create a new property for each deal. Okay. So we're going to create a new property that we're going to put on each deal. So I'm going to open here my properties, and I'm going to go to properties here, and I'm going to go to deal properties. Okay. So we're going to create a brand new property, and we're going to call this property a flag, basically. And that property is going to flag that deal to say if it's upcoming or if it's in the past. Okay. And then we're going to build a workflow to change the flag based on the date, right? So here I'm going to create a new property. All right. And I'm going to put it in the group. Here I can just put it in the mind body appointments group. Okay. And I'm going to call this, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm going to call it upcoming booking. Right. And the okay. And the description is basically going to say appointment is in the past or the future. Okay. And this property is going to be a drop down select. So drop down select, and it's only going to have two possible values. It's either in the future, so future will be upcoming, right? Or it's in the past, which means it's an old appointment. Okay. And that's it. So now I have a new property on each deal called upcoming. Okay. Upcoming booking. Does this make sense so far? Now I'm going to add that property to the deal view so I can see it. So I'm going to go back to my deal here, my appointment. I call it deal, but it's an appointment. It's a deal in HubSpot, but it's an appointment. And I'm going to put it on the top here so I can see it. So here I'm going to say view all properties, and I'm going to search for it. Upcoming, and I'm going to add it to my view, and I'm going to move it to the top here, just so it's kind of like essential. So now I have an upcoming property here, right? And it can be either upcoming or past. Okay. So far, so good. All right. Now I'm going to go back to that workflow, not the contact workflow, but I'm going to go back to the deal workflow, and I'm gonna I'm gonna call this workflow, which is, I think this is it right here. This is a deal enrollment trigger, right? I'm gonna call this workflow flag upcoming appointments, and I'm going to spell appointments properly. Okay, so flag upcoming appointments. The purpose of this workflow is to every day, it's going to look at every deal and it's going to say, is this an upcoming appointment or is this an appointment in the past? Okay, so now every deal is going to have that flag, right? So set up the trigger, and the trigger is going to do something very simple. It's going to look at the deal, and it's going to look at the mind body appointment date and time, which is, again, this is a date format, so you can calculate it against it, right? And if this deal is more than, right, so here I'm going to say is more than 0 days from now, it means it's in the future. Okay, so if this deal is more than 0 days from now, it means this is in the future. Okay, I'm going to apply the filter. Okay, and the other thing that I'm going to do is, and I'm also going to check the visit. So mind body visit status. And again, these are all fields that we create with our integration that we update live from MindBody, right? If the MindBody visit status is equal to any or of booked, so the status has to have booked in there in order for it to be considered an upcoming appointment. And the reason is you may have an appointment in the future, but it's been canceled. We don't delete the deal, we just change the status to canceled, but it's not an upcoming appointment anymore, right? So here we're only going to say the two criteria for this appointment to be upcoming: it has to be in the future and it has to be status booked. Okay, I'm going to save that. Okay, now this is when the tests come in. And I know you guys have been paying attention because I can see you staring at the screen. Okay, what are we going to do if this is true? Okay, so I'm going to go to I'm going to take it there almost. I'm going to go to the deal property. So I'm going to type property, set property value. Okay, so this is set. Which property are we going to change if this is true? Rex.
So we've already found out that the appointment is in the future. We found that it's booked. So the question is, what are we trying to accomplish from that? Or what are we trying to change within the workflow?
Right, where the purpose of the workflow is to flag upcoming appointments. We've identified that this appointment is in the future. Remember, we created a custom property called upcoming appointment, right? So if this is true, what property value are we changing on the deal?
The custom property we created. So it's going to be upcoming.
Exactly. So, oh, it's not there because I created it and I haven't refreshed my screen. So let me just save that. Workflow is off. I think it auto saves, right? Let me just refresh and then it should be there. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Upcoming booking. and we're going to say set the property to upcoming booking. And what are we changing it to?
Upcoming.
Right. Makes sense, right? You're saying if the appointment is in the future and it's not canceled, then set that flag to upcoming. Now, the cool thing is that sorry, you have a question?
Yeah. So the reason we're doing this is because, like you mentioned, we already have the data for if you clicked on the customer profile, you can see if they have an upcoming appointment. That's not what we're trying to accomplish here. What we're trying to accomplish here is for businesses to have a view of all the upcoming appointments. They don't have to go to each individual customer profile. So that's what we're doing here, right? What we're creating is, all right, we're taking the information we already have. Appointment date and time is more than 0 days from now. We're taking the visit status as booked, which were already existing, but because we set this custom property value of upcoming booking, adding that to this workflow is going to give a view where they can see all these customers instead of having to go to the specific lead profile to see if it's booked. Yes.
Right. Let me. Yes, you're partially correct. Let me rephrase it a different way. What we're doing here is we're compensating for the fact that when you build a workflow for contact, you can't not identify if an appointment is in the future. So what we're doing is we're flagging every appointment. So when I go back to my workflow for the contact, I can easily check, is that field upcoming or not? And I don't have to calculate against the date anymore because that was not possible. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Now, one of the things too that I want to mention is when I say review and publish here, it'll check how many deals you already have in your pipeline that qualify for this, right? And it'll say, would you like to set the flag for those? Now, when I've done this to another customer, 7 locations, MindBody, they had, I want to say they had 40,000 appointments. So they do a lot of appointments. So this is really cool because the other thing that this is going to do, it's going to look at every appointment in the past, in the present, in the future, and it's going to set that flag to upcoming if it's upcoming. Okay. So here I'm going to say, yes, enroll all of them. I'm going to say, go ahead and turn it on. Right. And then here you can see in the details, you can see what it's done. So here you can see enrollment history, and it's completed 4 appointments, I think here, and it's set the flag to upcoming. Now, interestingly enough, if I go back to there, remember how this didn't have anything here? I'm going to do a refresh, and now you're going to see that it has upcoming for this appointment. Okay, remember that appointment I was looking at, and I I didn't know if it, now the system knows this appointment is upcoming. Okay, so we're done with upcoming, but for everything that goes, we have to have something that doesn't go. I don't know if there's a better way to explain this, but we also have to set appointments to the past, right? So it's like the reverse of what we've done. So when an appointment is now past, we want to flip the switch and say, now this appointment is in the past. Now I'm going to test or to quiz or engage. I'm going to engage Penelope because I know she's really been paying attention. I can see her. Plus Penelope, and we're all going to give her a nice little golf clap, is the only fully licensed, qualified HubSpot. What did you just get? You got something really cool. What was it called?
I got the certification for our solutions partner program, which I don't know, it's a fantastic certification, but it does not make me a HubSpot expert. I will clarify. It sounds really like I should be an expert in this, but I'm still learning.
I know. It's more on the partner side and stuff. So it's not using HubSpot, but I totally get it. But anyway, regardless, congratulations, Penelope.
Exciting. I know.
We are all very proud of you. We have a certified HubSpot partner in our presence. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to create another workflow, and we don't want this workflow to be called upcoming, right? We want this workflow to be called flag past appointment, right? It makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. So to do that, I'll take you partly there. You don't necessarily have to recreate it from scratch. It's going to be very similar to the upcoming, right? So you can just clone the upcoming and make the changes for reversing the logic. Okay, make sense?
Smart. Yeah.
Right. So let's do that. So I'm going to clone this, and I'm going to call this flag past appointments. Okay. So now you have a new title, but you have the old logic. So this is when Penn comes in. Tell me how you think this should change in order to test if an appointment is in the past or not.
Oh God, I got this one. This is an easy one. I mean, I think. Watch me get it wrong. So we'll want to do less than 0 days from now. Right? Is that a thing? Yeah.
Right. Or more than 0 days ago, which is the same thing.
Ah, cool.
Okay. Okay.
It's always fun to try to think weird backwards like that with those, like, and carry the one.
Exactly. Or mind body visit status. Right now it says is equal to any, right? Booked, right? So what are we going to do here differently?
Well, we don't want it equal to booked, but we also don't want it equal to canceled. So yeah, it doesn't contain any of booked or canceled.
No, canceled is oh, I see. So okay, so that's a good point. Let me clarify. We've already simplified it here. We said an appointment can be only one of two things. It can either be upcoming or past. It can't. We're not saying canceled. So
okay. I thought I heard you.
a third one for canceled, right?
Okay, perfect. So then yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't contain booked. So basically, you've changed
Fred?
the logic here. Yep.
A quick follow-up before we move on from that. So because we have that property of defining it as either upcoming or past, that means if it was canceled, it doesn't even show up on this list at all because we've already filtered those out. Is that right?
No, if it's canceled, right, this is going to pick it up. Because if it's okay. If it's canceled and it's in the future, you're right. This will not pick it up and it'll be ignored.
Okay.
If it's canceled, it's in the past, this will pick it up. But the only stuff we were acting on was the booked in the future. So right now we're safe that the other one is taking care of anything in the future with booked. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So you've changed the trigger, Penn. Now, what are you going to do here?
So that first trigger is going to set the deal property upcoming booking to past, right? Would we want a new deal property for past booking then? Do we want to make a new one? Or it's just, we're just going to use upcoming booking that's in the past? Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh, I see. I call this property upcoming booking, right?
yeah.
Maybe I should have, again, we just came up with this. So you could have named this instead of upcoming booking.
It's booking. Yeah.
You could have called it booking status.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Thank you. It would probably make more sense for it to be booking status. Okay. Or you could have called it past or future, upcoming or past. That could be the name of the property because that's all you're really setting is upcoming or past. Okay. So now you're done here. So you review this, same thing. So now there are 3 that are in the past. We're going to say good to go here. And now we've done this. So now when I go back to my deals, to all my appointments, every appointment, and then you can see this, these are all the appointments. I can actually sort it here. I can add that field just to view it. So I'm going to add that property, upcoming booking. What I like to do is I like to just go to the top, bottom, top just to see it. And you can see that, oh, those 2 are upcoming and those 3 are in the past, which makes sense. This one right here was not selected, I believe, because it was canceled. It fit in what you described, Rex. Okay. So now we've done this. So now we know that every appointment that we create is going to have that flag set automatically. So let's test it first. Okay. So I'm going to share my whole screen, and I'm going to schedule an appointment first. So here's HubSpot on the left. Here's MindBody on the left, HubSpot on the right. Today is February 25th. I'm going to schedule an appointment for March 9th at 7 a.m. And I'm going to add, I don't know, do I have a Diane? That's my mother-in-law's name. And yeah, I have a Diane Hamilton here in my test. And what is Diane going to do? Penn, what do you think Diane should do? Should she do endurance coaching or cardio coaching?
Cardio coaching.
All right, cardio coaching.
Fred?
Preference, definitely male. Yes, sir.
My mom's name is Diane, and her middle name is Hamilton.
And her middle name
What
is
a coincidence.
No way.
Her middle name is Hamilton. My middle name is also Hamilton.
Okay, so what you need to do is you need to sign her up for a cardio coaching appointment, because that is the next largest. I'm convinced
Destiny.
that, you know, we live in a simulation, and we just hit a glitch. We just hit a glitch here. So all right, and then all right, that's good. So we're gonna book her for 7 a.m. for Rex mom. All right, and now I'm gonna see if she shows up here. She should. So automation number 3 is gonna pick that up.
Should have waiting music.
And just like that, we lose all our attendees.
Everyone's gone.
Right. So Diana's here, and this is going to switch. Oh, it hasn't switched. So let's see. Maybe it takes a little while to pick it up. Right here. So you see it says upcoming now. Okay, so the workflow took effect. She has an appointment March 9th, so it says upcoming automatically. Okay, if I change that appointment in the past, all right, so we're gonna do that. Now the cool thing about APIANT is that, you know, we do adjust for that. So I'm gonna do something kind of strange here. I'm going to move this appointment to before February 25th. I wish I had done this a little differently. So let's see, maybe we can do that here.
What do you want to do? You want to move it?
Yeah, I'm gonna move it to yesterday. All right, help me out here, right here.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say, let's say it was actually not March 9th, it was February 24th at the same time, right? Update and close, update appointment.
Yeah, I mean, update close the same.
All right.
Coach not available for that time.
That's right. That's why I was ad-libbing here to my little who's available during that time. Let's see. Let's just go back here. Let's find a time that we know is available for this. Oh, I only have Wednesday. That's why. Oh, yeah. It has to be a Wednesday. Okay, so let's do in the
March
past
2nd.
Wednesday. What did you say? 23rd?
Yes, 23rd.
Okay, so let's do 23rd. Oh, it did move it. It just said it didn't have a person, but it did move it because it's right here.
All right, just drag it over. Or, oh, I guess you don't need to.
Let's move it right here. Okay. So Okay, so now she's been moved to the past, to 23rd. So now, right now she's still at 3.9, right? So let's execute this APIANT again. So this runs every 15 minutes. So within 13 minutes, it would pick up the change. So I'm gonna run, what did I just click? Ouch.
You clicked off onto the folder or something.
Yeah, I know. Right here. All right, so 3. All right, so this is gonna pick it up. So you'll see, so right now we're on Wednesday, March 9th. It says upcoming. So now this is gonna be updated. Here it is. So now the appointment is February 23rd. Okay, so this changed. See that? Right? And this is going to change from upcoming to past. So that takes a little, a couple minutes because the workflow has to pick it up. So I don't know how soon workflows take effect, but I think it's at the most a couple minutes. So we'll wait for this to change into past. Okay. But you saw that APIANT was able to move the appointment to the past, and it's a no-show because she never completed, so it automatically changed it to a no-show, right? And so if I go back to the appointments here, you'll notice that Diane's account is in no-show now because it was on the 23rd, and since it wasn't completed and checked out, it became a no-show appointment. Okay, and now let's go. I want to see the one that says past. And let's go open it up again. Right here. So now you see upcoming booking past. See that? That was automatic with the workflows, the 2 workflows that we create. One set it to upcoming, the other one set it to past. Okay, so we're almost there. Now, we've built the property, the flag. We've built 2 workflows that are changing the flag of each appointment on the fly. Okay. We have APIANT that updates appointment status and time and everything automatically. So now we need to create our workflows to say, does the contact have an appointment upcoming, right? So to do that, I'm going to call upon Mark to tell me what.
You thought you were free, didn't you?
Oh, never free, never free.
Here we go.
This is never off the hook.
You were bragging earlier, so
I know, Mark. Let's go. Let's see if you could get a certification from HubSpot at some point in the future. I think you could. All right, so let's create a workflow here. So create workflow. Okay. Now this one is not going to be a deal-based workflow. It's going to be a contact-based workflow because now we're using the contact as a trigger. Okay.
Yep.
So contact-based from scratch. Okay. And set up the trigger. So this is where it becomes really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I do for a trigger?
Well, first we want to determine, are we working on upcoming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll do a deal, because that custom property was in the deal.
Right.
So we want to look at the deal property for the, you called it upcoming.
Okay.
Or booking, whichever, should pick it up. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
And then the we want to know if it is upcoming or past, right? So we determined those fields when we built it. So there's only gonna be those 2 options, right? So,
Right.
okay. So now we're clarifying or quantifying or qualifying, sorry, this contact, and the first field is upcoming booking. So now we know that anything after this now is going to be whatever we want to.
Right.
set.
And you could add some condition span here.
Right.
If you only wanted this workflow to work on customers who have been customers before, right? You could do stuff, and this is where APIANT is so powerful. I mean, we update close to, I think, 100 fields now from MindBody to HubSpot. So what you could do here is you could say, and for instance, if the last visit name on the contact profile, so last visit, right? If the last visit name is contains any of, let's say you offer, I think we offered a cardio, for instance, or something else, or something else, or something else, right? Then we're going to trigger. So now you're basically saying only trigger this workflow on people who have been here before for paid visit,
Right.
but and have an upcoming appointment, right?
Right.
So there's all kinds of stuff you could add here to further qualify the contact.
Oh yeah,
right?
because you could definitely build this then any way you want. Hey, we know they had cardio. We know that they have an upcoming appointment. You could put another qualifier like, is upcoming appointment have strength in it? And then you have this custom email that goes, hey, we're excited that you've done your cardio training here before, and we're super excited to see that you're taking strength training. And then this has just all been built for you, and it's doing it automatically.
Right. And then you could do another one that says, if they have an upcoming appointment that's cardio, but they don't have a half-hour stretch or whatever, I'm coming up with something. You could say, hey, we see you have an upcoming appointment that's cardio.
Right.
Make sure you schedule your initiation to cardio or safety in the gym appointment, right? Everybody needs it because they've never taken it before. I mean, you can see how powerful and how the sky's the limit here, where the system can become so powerful because it has access to all this information, and it's able to really customize the transactional message to each client based on their history and their future. Yeah. It's really cool.
And that's the benefit for, connecting this with like a mind body system, where mind body doesn't have that capability of really isolating, all the data is there, but they don't have a way to trigger all that, in those scenarios. And this is where HubSpot really, like a spa or whatever, can detect, did they have this add-on last time and they didn't have this add-on this time? So let's send them a message before they get here to say, do you want this add-on? Like, there's all this capabilities. And it's just taking time to set it up. Once it's up, it's like money. It's golden. It's like that caramel popcorn.
But you don't realize the power of this until you really kind of see the data points that we update. Like, there's a number of visits at the site. Is this their anniversary? I mean, it's endless. It's endless. So if you dream it, you can build it. So that should be the slogan of APIANT here. Okay, so good. So I'm going to take out this last one that I did. And so this is only going to say upcoming appointment, save. Okay. So the question is, what are we going to do next, right? If they have an upcoming appointment? Well, there's a couple of things you could do. You could send an email, you could send an SMS, but what I want to do here is you could add them to a list, an active list. So now you have a list that shows you everybody who has an upcoming appointment and everybody who hasn't. So, and then you could do it per location and anything else like this. So here, I'm going to just come here and say, list, add to a static list, right? And new list name. Well, I would have to create one first. So let me just create one. Let's do duplicate here. I'm going to create a two list first, real quick. So to create a list, you just go to list here. And I'm going to create a list called upcoming clients with upcoming appointments. And this has to be a static list. Okay. Save list. And I'm going to create a second list. And I'm going to call it clients without upcoming appointments. Okay. And these are static lists, which means the lists are not going to grow and shrink on their own, right? An active list is a list where in the list you can actually have parameters that put people in and out of the list. But here we don't need to do that because the workflows are going to do that for us. The workflows are going to take those folks and put them and take them out of the list. Okay. So here, we're going to go back to here, and I'm going to say, I'm going to cancel that. We're going to refresh this. And we're going to say, this is where it's going to be interesting to see if Mark is going to have the presence of mind to give me the right answers here. So first, you know that we're going to add them to the list, right? So I'm going to say list, add to a static list. And the list is called client with upcoming appointments, right?
Right.
Anything else I need to do?
Let's see, we have the list of upcoming appointments. Ooh. This feels like it's one of those like.
Oh, it's a trick question for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. It's as trick as it gets. What am I forgetting to do here? There's another step after this I need to do.
Upcoming booking. I think it's this is creating a list. We need to pick from it's like the grouping already of the people.
All right, I'll give you a hint.
Right. Sorry, I'm failing.
It actually reminds me of my kids when they were young. When my 3-year-old would say, "Daddy, guess what's for dinner?" Or guess what's for dessert tonight? I'm like, I don't know. She would say, "I'll give you a hint, chocolate." That was always my favorite to be like, "I'll give you a hint, chocolate." Oh, we're having chocolate. How did you know? Okay.
We need to look. We need to look at the list that they're already in.
Well, no, if you add an automation to add people to a static list, you also need to make sure you remove people from lists. Because there's a chance that this person did not have an upcoming appointment and they were in the other list. So you got to move people from one list to the next because those two lists are mutually exclusive. You cannot be in the upcoming appointment and be in the no upcoming appointment. And since this is all driven from the workflow, so that's your hint, chocolate.
All right. let's put them in the caramel list.
Okay. So then we want to remove from list, right?
Yeah.
So remove from static list. And here it's going to be clients without upcoming appointments.
Right. Chocolate.
Because they could technically be in both lists at the same time, which would make no sense. Okay. So review and publish. So we have 2 people. Remember, it's the same with the 2 appointments. I'm going to say turn on right here. And here you can watch what happened. And then you can see that these 2 or 2 people were put in there. And then here I can look at my list, do a refresh, and I should have 2 people in the clients with upcoming appointments. So now you can see that these 2 people have upcoming appointments. Okay. So now that I've shown you this, and this made a lot of sense, we're going to want to create the list that removes people from upcoming appointments and adds them to no upcoming. So we want to do the opposite. And this is now where I go to Rex. So how do I create a workflow that is the opposite of this workflow here? So did I name this workflow, by the way? Where is my workflow? Yeah. Do we have a name to it? We didn't name it. So let's name this workflow. So this workflow could be add clients with upcoming appointments to list. Okay, so that's the workflow to add them. All right, so Rex, I only have one more thing to do. I now need a workflow that removes people from that list and adds them to the other list.
All right. This is when I pretend I'm frozen, right? Well, we can start out by cloning the
Yes,
list that we just
sir.
made.
See, you're such a fast learner. It's so awesome. Okay, so this one is going to be called, and I'm going to rename it to remove clients or remove clients without upcoming appointments from list. Okay, I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but okay. All right. Show me the money.
Okay. So we're going to click on upcoming booking. Is any of upcoming? We're going to do upcoming bookings. Is any of past? Is that a thing?
You could do past, or you could say
Or
does
is
not
none of
contain.
does not contain? Yeah.
Right. I
Upcoming.
think based on your earlier observation, it's better if you say does not contain, because then everything else, if they haven't been processed or whatever, it's only going to add people who are in the upcoming appointment, right? Because we know
Okay.
that our logic will tag people who have upcoming appointments. Okay.
Mhm.
Based on how we built the logic, as far as past appointments, we're not 100% sure, because remember the logic, how we built it, we didn't look for canceled in the future. And so, but yeah, so I would say is not, so I would take this out here, and I'm gonna say is not equal to upcoming. Okay. And this is the
Okay.
flag of the appointment, right?
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so that's good enough here. All right. So what do we do if it's not equal to upcoming?
So we want to add to list clients without upcoming appointments. And then we'll remove from list of clients with upcoming appointments.
Review and publish. This can take a while if you have a lot of contacts and a lot of appointments. I think the last time I'd done it, I said I had 47,000 appointments. So it took a few minutes. I'm gonna say yes, turn on. Okay, and now let's look at our list. And it's still working on that. So it's still working on that. And that appointment here switched to past. Okay, so that's it. So we now have two lists. So we have without upcoming here, and then with upcoming there. What's going on here? Is it still thinking? Okay, I guess there were 0. Let's see. What my action log? Oh, let's double check to make sure we got this right. Oh yeah, we did get it right. No, we did not. Hold on. Let's double check here. Let's go back to the workflow. Upcoming booking is not equal to all upcoming. Okay, so I guess it's done. Details. Oh, there were 693 contacts enrolled. That's why it took a while. So now this is clients with no upcoming appointments. And here they are. And here are clients with upcoming appointments. And here they are. And the really cool thing about this is that it's all automatic now. You know, as appointments are placed or appointments are canceled and appointments are no shows, this is automatic. And right now you're just adding them to list, but you could do transactional email 1-to-1, or you could just say everybody who doesn't have an upcoming appointment, we're gonna offer, let's say, you know, a special 2-for-1 because they haven't scheduled an appointment in the last 3 months. You could have added that in the in the condition, right? You could have a lot more conditions, but this is it. You've done it, and this is really powerful stuff. I mean, this is, and Rex has said it so perfectly the other day, which is really, what is the value of APIANT? Well, the value of APIANT is that it amplifies the value of the stack you've chosen, because HubSpot is so powerful. MindBody is so powerful. But when you merge the two, when you blend the two together, thanks to APIANT, you're able to do even more powerful things, right? You're able to do what we just did, which you couldn't do manually. There's no way on God's green earth you would manually type every appointment into HubSpot, right? Because what's the point? You may as well communicate with each person manually if that's what you're going to do. But when you have it all synced together, you can start using those powerful features in HubSpot. Man, conversion, retention, satisfaction, everything goes off the roof. Rex, do you agree with this? He's like, no.
I contest. No, I couldn't agree more. First off, that the beautiful thing that I said that you complimented me on, I stole from you. So that was you. You're the one that said that first, and I loved it. And it's so true. I worked at MindBody for 4 years and talked to countless businesses that had the challenge of, how do I send the right information to the right people at the right time? And that's your goal of marketing. The goal of marketing is your dream scenario is someone's thinking, oh, I got to book that class. And then right when they think that, they get the email saying, hey, book this class, book this appointment, right? It's been a bit, book that appointment. And the only way that you can do that is to empower your data to work for you so that you can have the insights. Data is not valuable unless it gives you insights. And the only way that you can get those insights is if you have your systems working for you to provide the right information at the right time so that you can target those clients appropriately. HubSpot's amazing, MindBody's amazing, but the ability to have them work seamlessly together is invaluable for your business. And the other thing I'll highlight is what's so powerful, especially for the industries that we're talking about, when we talk about spas and salons, when we talk about the value of each service and each add-on, we're talking about hundreds of dollars, right? We're talking about, and when we talk about add-ons, this is such, the return on investment for being able to target your clients like this is exponential, right? So this is a way to make hundreds, thousands of dollars on a monthly basis.
That's such a good point. I mean, you do not understand the impact of automating something like that until you do it. Because once you do it, there are things that human beings are really good at, and there are things that machines are really good at. You know what machines are really good at? They're really good at doing what we just showed you, which is why not let the machine to figure out if they have an upcoming appointment instead of having a human being every morning looking up who doesn't have an upcoming appointment. Let me send them all an email. Human beings are not good at that. Human beings are really good at the interpersonal, the connection, the feel, the touch, the humanity. Human beings are not good at keeping track of thousands of people's upcoming appointments. So when you let a machine do it for you, wow. Like you said, if you increase your sales of add-ons and follow-up appointments by 300%, you've transformed your business in 15 minutes of a workflow right here. So it's exciting. We see the changes in a ton of our companies that we work with, and they're pretty happy because it has a real impact to their bottom line and to the happiness of their customers. Do we have any questions, Ben, from anyone? I see there's a bunch of people have been writing stuff, but I haven't paid attention.
No questions.
Okay.
Lots of good comments. So thank you everybody for the kind words, but no questions.
I have a question, Fred.
Yeah.
So in MindBody, in their marketing tools, they define a static list as a list that does not change. So for a static list, you upload a client list, and it's going to client list that's going to stay the same regardless of the factors.
Right.
And they have their smart lists that is a dynamic list that will change. Mm-hmm. What is the definition of a static list in HubSpot? Because it looked like you created a static list that will change based on the filters you created.
That's a great question. So here's the HubSpot list. This is a static list in HubSpot. Okay. It does not change according to the list itself, meaning it does not have any filters or any parameters that grow or shrink the list. But we were able to change the list with a workflow. So it's another part of HubSpot that is able to add or remove to the list. But as opposed to a dynamic list, if I create an active list, okay, so this is my active list, I could also create an active list here, and then I could say, put everybody in there who has, and then this is where you would add all your filters, right? So I want to look at contact properties, deal properties. To some extent, I would be able to say, hey, anybody who has a deal with upcoming, that would probably be the fastest way of coming, right? Upcoming booking is upcoming. That would be a dynamic or an active list. I believe you can have more static lists and active lists, because active lists generate a lot of processing on HubSpot, because you know the list has to check all the time. Does anybody fit any of these new conditions, right? So that's an active list as opposed to a static list. But yeah, you're right. Static list in HubSpot can be shrunk or grown based on workflows. So in so many words, they are dynamic list or active list.
And that just speaks to the value of HubSpot when you can have that correct data, the
Right.
APIANT's
Right.
channeling it.
Right. All right. I think we're going to end here. It's 2:12. Before we do, I'd like to know what people are going to do for the weekend. So, Pen, what are you doing this weekend?
This weekend, I'm driving down to San Diego, actually. So
Ooh.
lucky me, it's going to be beautiful. It's been kind of cold here further north. So it's always nice going down to San Diego where it's a little bit warmer. I shouldn't even be talking about warmth to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. How cold is cold for you, Ben? What does that mean?
We don't have to talk about it. It's been like low 60s, but my house is in the shadow, and so it stays really cold inside. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought it up. I'm going to San Diego this weekend. We'll just leave it at that.
Awesome. How about you, Mark? Are you making any raviolis this weekend?
I might eat some raviolis this weekend because I have some already pre-made. So
Yeah, you know, I just realized you and I have an APIANT shirt, and Rex doesn't have one. So
yeah, those are the
or a mug.
Those are the redheaded stepchildren.
Mine have color. Mine has a color in there. You can see the little red dots here.
Sorry, nothing against redheads. I love redheads. I have lots of redhead friends. All right. So what else I'm gonna do? I'm still actively working on my garden here in the desert in Las Vegas. So I'm working on a gravity-fed drip system this weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then gonna hang out with the grandkids. I know I don't look like I should have grandkids, but I started when I was 12.
You do.
I started when I was 12. Oh, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I do have grandkids. I'm gonna hang out with them sometime over the weekend and play with Cash and Cooper. So
fun, awesome. And Rex, what are you doing? You're hitting the town.
And it's 35 degrees here. Okay, so I don't want to hear that.
So
no, yeah, I'm playing basketball tonight with some friends. Oh, the virtual background's messing with you. We now know that's not actually your view, Mark. You gave it away.
We had a glitch. Was there a glitch in the Matrix?
He's trying to show his phone, and the background was ignoring him.
Oh,
there we go. Yeah, no.
49.
49. Ugh.
Okay, I'm sorry for complaining, you guys. I feel like a real jerk.
I know, playing basketball tonight. I have some friends that live in a really nice little penthouse apartment that they're moving from, and so we're doing one last get together there, DJ, and have some fun there on a rooftop. And then other than that, hanging out in a coffee shop, walking around Central Park if it's not too cold. I don't. I have some friends that are amateur DJs, and I have one friend who is a really legit DJ that that goes around and DJs at different clubs and bars in New York. So she's awesome, and it's great that she brings her set around and brings the vibes.
Fun. All right. Well, let me turn off my background so you can see where I'm really at. Ready?
In a basement somewhere.
I'm actually in the hallway of the APIANT compound. So
What are you doing this weekend, Fred?
I have some. My pastor's coming over tonight.
What?
Yeah, for dinner with her husband. Her husband works. He's one of top developer at Amazon. She's really awesome. She's young and we have a lot of fun with her and her kids, and
Cool.
so that's what I'm doing. On that note, I think we're good. And you guys, another great session. Hey Rex, your screen is shaking when you type. What are you on a unstable table?
Yes, I was talking to Mark about this. When I type, my camera is on my laptop, which is on a stand, and so it looks like I have an earthquake happening
Okay.
every time
I was having an earthquake the other
I
day.
type.
That's gonna be your nickname from now on.
Shaky.
Unstable table.
Unstable table. Hey, got to keep you on your toes, you know.
All right, guys.
Rex a wiggle
Have
walk.
a fantastic weekend. Thanks for hanging, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun. We'll talk soon.
Bye, everyone.